Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Shadowwraith, and today we're going to be discussing on how to get into the hobby and kind of like the do's and don'ts for beginners in 40k, because it can be quite daunting getting into this hobby. But don't worry, we're here to help you out, and with some personal reasons of why we got into the hobby and the reasons we play our factions. So we got you covered. I am here with Shiny Gubbins and Resident Lincoln. Hi guys.
Hello.
What up?
Yeah, so we're just going to be chatting about how we got into this hobby and stuff. So if we start with, let's go with Resident Lincoln first. How did you get into the hobby?
Back when I was a wee nipper. No, I'm joking.
A wee
I think I can't remember how old. I think I was about 8 years old. I think that's about how I was out year 3. Might have been 7, 8 years old or something. Just saw a bunch of kids playing it. It was downhill from there really. Started off with Imperials, as people do. Soon recognised the error of my ways, and
good man.
went to Chaos very quickly. So yeah, started with the Iron Warriors, which was good at the time, but Chaos Gods claimed my soul in other ways. So pretty much been Chaos Demons on and off since then, and every other faction in between. So I think I've actually converted every time I've had a faction, I've converted at least one model to Chaos. So
Fantastic.
it was always the way.
Corrupting your previous armies. I love it.
Yeah.
And Shiny Gibbons, give us a quick breakdown on how you got into the hobby.
So, I got into a hobby by one of our good friends, actually, Shadowwraith. Went into the Games Workshop store where we live, and he literally turned around and said, "What army do you want?" And it took me back a bit. I was like, "Hey, you what?" And he goes, "What army do you want?" I was like, well, I like the Orcs. And he literally picked up a start collecting box of the Orcs, and it's just been downhill ever since. And it's just been on this massive war. And some have been good, and some have just been absolutely horrendous.
No, fair enough.
But it's nice, and it's a good community. You got 95%. People that will help you out, and the other 5% are the bad eggs. But at the end of the day, different strokes for different folks, and variety is a spice of life.
Happy days. That's fantastic. Just in case you guys didn't know, the reason how I got into hobby, I got actually taken into the Games Workshop by my grandmother, my lovely grandmother, looking for Roman models because I was a nerd and I loved Rome. And I ended up seeing, Nurgle. And that was it. I just looked at the box. I was like, what is that? I was like, Nurgle, mate. Yeah. You want some Plague Bearers? I was like, yeah, I want some Plague Bearers. And I ended up like conning my nan out of like 2 boxes of Plague Bearers. Went home, built them up, painted them, and I was hooked. Yeah. I first played Necrons properly because I got a big box for Christmas. They were my first official army, but Nurgle kept on calling back to me. So in the end, I ditched the old Necrons and truly gave myself to Chaos. It's quite funny.
In Nurgle's garden.
Yeah, Nurgle's garden, mate. That's what I call my back garden. So, we'll jump back to Resident Lincoln. Main faction, you said what? Chaos Demons?
Yeah. Chaos Demons through.
What
Yeah,
are the 3 main like reasons that really drew you into Chaos Demons? Like, you know what? I'm gonna play these.
Oh man, they're just okay. So tidbit about myself. I'm quite massively into the occult. So the fact that they synergize with my other life interests, obviously not demonology, but like just the whole like magic, just the whole kind of like things to do with like the warp and stuff. I just found the fluff just so like immersive and just like lost myself in the fluff for like ages. It's absolutely amazing. Like, it's just great. Like I can't really get into a faction if the fluff is pretty crap, to be honest.
No,
Or if I don't like find it to be engaging. So, like, also just a quick caveat: Thousand Suns, the same. I think their fluff is just out of this world. So,
yeah.
big fan of Thousand Suns as well. So yeah, that was like the main thing for me. The models have always been fantastic as well. The artwork for them is fantastic. Whoever comes up with a demon model is an absolute hero, apart from the piece of Nurgle. But let's not go there.
Yeah. We don't talk of these such things.
Yeah, they're actually really cool if you paint them up nicely in grimdark. But apart from that, I get games like
just the
you might drop the
grinning
ball there.
face.
Yeah, the Richter script.
Yeah.
It's like a poxwalker who found the plague pies, just kept eating.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it really. Just the fluff, the models, everything just kind of synergized. It just was great. Loved it, absolutely loved it. Haven't stopped loving it since. So much so that every time I've sold my army, I've got it back. Just yeah, I was like, right, well, let's go then. Demons for life, yo. Gotta do it.
Oh, love it, absolutely love it. Yeah, it's really nice that you've obviously like clicked with a faction. How about you, Shining Gubbins? How did you pick your faction? Your main faction, top 3 points. Why'd you pick that faction?
God, the Orcs. One, because of their lore. That you can't quite compare it to anything else really with them because they're just on their own little. Well, I'll say little, massive. Their own massive war path. They don't care who they fight. They just want to fight. And it is glorious, to the point where they'll even start bashing each other's heads in because they think it's funny. So the lore draw me into that, and the fact that, Grots, two, you can loot anything with the Orcs. You want a Baneblade as a transport, you can do that. If you want a knight and you want to turn him into a Gorkanaut or Morkanaut or something along them lines,
Stomper kind of thing.
that's great. You can do that. And there's just so much flavour with the Orcs. And people say, the Orcs are the gimmick of the 40k universe, but in lore-wise, they would just wipe everything. And really, if it came down to it, it would be Nids and Orcs left.
Chaos is
and
eternal.
number 3.
I'm just gonna throw that in there.
Yeah, but Orcs and Nids create the most chaos.
You know what? Let's agree to disagree.
And number 3, I just love the models.
Yeah.
They're Wazdaka, Blazbomb, Bastard Jet. It's the only thing that actually looks like a plane, and for a race that just bashes things together,
Yeah.
makes sense. You know what I mean? And their battle wagons, their trucks, they've got a wrecking ball on the side of their truck. Who else does that in 40k? And they're just class. But yeah, what about you?
Well, the reason I picked my army Nurgle, obvious reason. Everyone said it. Love the models. Yeah, but I wanted to paint them. I looked at the model and I was like, I want to paint that. I saw the Plague Marines they brought out. Yeah, I wanted to paint them. They looked fantastic. Their lore, yeah, I literally, when I first proper dove into Nurgle, I basically drowned myself in lore videos, reading books, audio books, anything I can get my hands on, and I just love it. Absolutely love it. From pre-heresy to current, yeah, everything about them. And the last thing, probably the main thing that really hooked me on them, is how their lore and the way they're meant to fight translates to the tabletop. I love how slow they are. I love how tough they are. And yeah, you just sit there and you can absolutely take a battering. Whilst unleashing Nurgle's love to everyone in the form of Poxwalkers. I can turn your Primaris Space Marines into Poxwalkers. You know what? I've just improved your model there because he's now a Poxwalker in my unit. Yeah, I absolutely adore it. But yeah, so what piece of advice, and we'll start with Resident Lincoln again, would you give to another like a beginner listening now on what faction to pick or what army?
Go into Games Workshop, look at their style collectings, go out of Games Workshop, buy as many style collectings as you can, start collecting Nurgle Demon, obviously, and then that's what you need to do. That's your journey completed there. So no, I'm joking. Just go with what you like, really. Look at the models, then look at the lore. Just find something that's like cool to paint as well, that you think you'd enjoy painting. Like back when I started, like YouTube wasn't a thing, but there's so many good like painting videos, lore videos, everything on YouTube, like you touched on a second ago.
Yeah.
So just like really, really immerse yourself in everything that you have available for doing whatever. Really, like all the factions have pretty cool lore if you delve into it enough. So don't just go like what you hear firsthand, because certain people have biased opinions, as I said, in regards to going in there and buying loads of Nurgle style clothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, just find what you love. Like in 40k, there's plenty for everyone. There's, as I said, there's multi layers to it and everything else. So just keep delving until you find something that you want. And go for it, really. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just don't overwhelm yourself as well. Like just take it a bit at a time. Like enjoy it as well. I find a lot of people, when they delve in something, they get overwhelmed and it actually like they get stressed out by it. And you shouldn't, because it's a hobby and you're supposed to be having fun and you're supposed to be like,
yeah,
this is supposed to be an escape from stuff as well. You know what I mean? Like it's chill out time and stuff like that, and just having a laugh with your friends and that. So just embrace that aspect. And I don't think you can go wrong, really. So
yeah, happy day. About the bias thing though, I would have suggested getting Death Guard, start collecting box, but we don't have one. Hurts me.
cough.
Yeah, Shiny Gubbins. What's your couple of bits of advice on picking your faction / army?
I'd say go with what gets your attention the most, you know, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to be painting them, you're the one that's going to be playing them, and you're the one that's going to be learning about them. So go for the faction that appeals to you the most, you know, and yeah, you can speak to your friends and they can suggest things, but if that certain faction doesn't feel right for you, don't do it. Go for the faction that you like the look of. It doesn't matter what it is. At the end of the day, as long as you're having fun.
Yeah.
And number two, you know, look at the lore videos for your faction. You know, so personally for me, where I'm just getting into Tau, I'm learning about the Tau and the different seps. You know, and I'm enjoying it because that's what I want to. That's the next faction I want to play as. You know, and Tau's not for everybody because not everybody likes sushi. But just take your time with it. You know, there's so much of it. Just you don't eat the whole cake at once because you will get yourself overwhelmed and it will more than likely put you off. So go for the faction that appeals to you the most. Have fun. And just watch the lore videos about that faction that you've picked and just go from there, really. And just when you have a first game with your mate, just have fun. At the end of the day, what Lincoln just said, this is a hobby. It is meant to be fun. So just go with the flow, man. Like, just do whatever feels right for you.
Perfect. Yeah, I can't really add too much more to that. Other than the only piece of advice I've got really that hasn't been mentioned about picking your army is do not pick an army based on a meta. If you don't know what a meta is, it is basically what is winning tournaments right now. Meta is alive. It is constantly changing. And all because you pick a meta army does not mean you're going to win with it. Because if you do that, you might not want to play that faction. Death Guard, when I started them, were not meta. They were terrible. But I still played with them and did quite well with them. They're now pretty strong, but I'm really strong with them. So it's pretty good. But yeah, that's all we got. Any last bits of advice before we end the video?
Just have fun. Do you know what I mean? And when you're first playing your couple of games, your first games, don't play somebody with a tourney list. Just keep it simple. Play with your friends and just break yourself into it gently. And then everything else will just come along.
Perfect. Yeah. That's pretty much everything I was going to say. Yeah. Just enjoy the faction you're doing. If you have any questions regarding 40k faction, anything like that, do consider joining my Discord channel. Link is in the description down below. And if you're interested in being in a video or anything like that, same again, join the Discord and you can always chat to me. I'm on every single day. I love talking to people about Warhammer. Thank you ever so much, Shani Gibbons, for coming on.
No worries. Thank you for having me on.
No problem. And thank you for everyone who is watching the video. If you like the video, do consider giving it a like. And you're feeling especially saintly today, do consider subscribing. But even if you don't do either of those things, I still hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. And I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Hello again. If you're interested in supporting my channel and myself to giving you bigger and better content such as competitive battle reports in the future, then do consider joining up to my Patreon. The link is down in the description below and you will be mentioned on my videos at the end. Some of you may get a sexy t-shirt. Thank you ever so much and goodbye.